How do you put a stop to endless meeting requests and over meeting? Well, that's exactly the situation this caller is in, and I give him a few ideas on how to navigate the situation. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to hear me coach more live callers just like this one. Sam, welcome to the show. How can I help you today?
Hey, thank you, Dr. Jeremy. I've been having some work issues at work. My boss keeps on harassing me and calling me and wanting to schedule meetings that I don't think are necessary just to talk to me and tell me how to do my job. And it's just a waste of my time. And I don't know how to tell them to leave me alone and just let me, work, stop micromanaging me.
You're not getting the level of autonomy that you feel like you ought to be getting at this point.
I work in sales and my job is to sell, and my boss hired me and told me that I would be able to do whatever I want as long as I made sales, and I'm the number one sales person in the company. But now they want to do weekly and daily meetings to try to inspire me to be better. And I told them that I don't need it. But then they told me that I need to be a part of the team. And I mean,
is it a he or she, your boss?
He.
Is he wanting to just meet with you every day or the whole team every day?
Both. Team meetings and then also meetings with him separately, just so that he can, I don't know, waste my time. I'm just, I'm frustrated about it because, if I'm not selling, I'm not making any money. These meetings don't help me. I told them going in to this job that I was great at what I do and that I didn't need help and to let my numbers speak for themselves, and they have. But then now I feel like I'm just wasting energy that are useless to me.
Yeah, they're just over meeting. You're getting meeting fatigue. Yeah. And so let me ask you, is the main reason you think that they want more meetings is because they think it's going to inspire you in some way to sell more? Is that the point of these, or?
I think the meetings are just about control. I think it's just about someone letting you know that they are the boss and that they want you to follow the protocol that they think works best for everyone. And I'm not saying that these meetings don't help other people. I told my boss that he kind of needs to leave me alone, kind of in so few words to F off, because but it's caused a lot of tension between me and my boss because now he is resentful that I don't want to be told what to do. And I told him straight up, I said, if I needed your help, I'd ask you, but I don't. So just let me do my thing. So I kind of I don't know, I just feel like he just wants power over me.
It sounds like obviously your goal is to have fewer meetings or at least fewer meeting requests. But do you also want to have a better working relationship with your boss, kind of get back to where you might have been in the past?
What I really want is my boss to leave me alone and let me do what I do best. My relationship with him, as long as he pays me, I don't really care. I want to know how I can kind of get along with him, but also have him leave me alone because I don't need his help.
I got you. Okay.
And he knows that too. He knows that I don't need his help.
He knows it, but for some reason, he's making these requests. Maybe he's getting pressure from somewhere else to have these meetings. I wonder if you took a little step back and took a little bit different of approach and said something to the effect of, hey, you're requesting a lot of meetings. I've expressed that I really don't think these meetings are necessary. It seems like it's created that sort of disconnect between us is creating some tension. And I'd like to just take a step back and understand a little bit more about why you want these meetings and see if we can come to some sort of compromise and just hear him out a little bit. What is his explanation for them? And then maybe he will give you some space to say, listen, I understand you want to do these meetings. It sounds like you want to do them for this reason. I get that. However, here's the challenge that I'm running into. It's stopping me from, doing what I'm doing. It's stopping my momentum. It feels like it's wasting time. I don't see the point of it. I'm having trouble disconnecting. All the problems you just brought up in a sort of respectful way, just letting him know that stuff and just say, hey, listen, I'm willing to compromise in some way, but I can't be in all of these meetings. Please work with me. Get on my team here. Let's work together and figure out a meeting schedule that makes sense for both of us.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I feel like the more I fight him, the more he wants me to.
Of course.
Yeah. The more I say I'm not interested, the more he comes after me. So
yeah,
I can see his perspective and I can see that it's probably pressure from the top, from his boss.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that advice. It makes sense. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm the best at the company at what I do. So I don't understand why he keeps on pressuring me. But I think a lot of it probably has to do with the fact that I'm fighting him and not trying to work with him and see his point of view and understand that he's probably not the one at the top of the company that is, he has to answer to somebody, and he's getting paid, and part of his job is to, make sure that everyone's doing what everyone else is doing. And but the thing is, when I got hired, he promised me that I wouldn't have to have any of these sort of meetings. So that's why I'm kind of like distraught, because it's like, how many meetings do you have to hear the same thing over and over? I think meetings are kind of useless. I'd rather be meeting with my customers. Those are the people that, mean the most to me. And not to disrespect my boss, because, he's my boss, but my customers are everything. And they're more important to me than my boss.
Okay. Well, I mean, that makes sense, especially from a sales perspective. I wouldn't say that to him, but it makes sense to me. But I do think giving him the space to be heard, because you're right, he might be under some tension and we're just not aware of it. But so if you can approach him instead of like, I'm your opposition, I'm not going to do what you're telling me to do, and then he has to fight you for it. Instead, approach him with like, hey, I'm on your team. I want you to win too. I know you want me to win. Let's support each other. What do you need from me? I'm going to tell you what I need from you. Let's figure out something that works for both of us. Like, it's really a team effort here to figure this out. Let's get down to one meeting a week, like just a check-in meeting or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just want to conserve my energy for sales. And I think I just need to explain that to him. And I feel like maybe he's like bored and has nothing to do.
Maybe.
But, because my job is he makes a % of what I sell. So, and I work on straight commission. So that's one of the reasons why I feel that way too. I told him, you're not paying me for these meetings.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're just on commission, then having a bunch of meetings just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I think approaching him, with a positive team approach rather than sort of here's what I need. I'm only going to focus on what I need. I don't care about what you need. Instead of that, coming at him with a, hey, let's do this together. That might work better. But you still have to set your boundaries and say like, here's how much I'm willing to meet. Tell me within that constraint, I'm willing to meet once a week.
Yeah. I told him straight up, I said, if you want me to meet with you so much, you can pay me for the meetings. And
that's not a bad request.
And he didn't respond. So he knows that, like if you want to meet, every day, and every time you call me and bug me about meeting and talking about what I'm doing, then pay me for my time, because I'm not making any money. So I think he's on salary, so he's getting paid to meet with me. I'm getting nothing from meeting with him other than leave me alone. And then, you don't answer your phone or you don't reply to a text, and then everything just goes crazy, like the world exploded or something. Like, why didn't you get back to me? Well, I'm working. I'm selling.
In this kind of situation, especially if you're not on salary, you're in commission only, you're working every hour you're not on the phone with your customers, you're losing money essentially. I would recommend, hey, let's do a once a week meeting. And then once a day, I'm going to block out a 30-minute or whatever block of my time to answer emails. So just FYI, expectation setting, I am not going to probably be able to answer your emails until that block of time. 3 p.m. every day, I set 30 minutes aside to answer emails. That's when I'll get back to you. But don't expect me to get back to you before that. Just so there's some expectation setting.
Yeah. It just gets annoying when you get like 10 missed calls all in a row.
Oh, yeah. Well, but if you set an expectation of like, here's the time that I have to interact with you on a daily basis, I think he won't be calling you all day with a different expectation.
It frustrates me because there's nothing in it for me in terms of how it helps me. It's all about how it helps him. So, he's not understanding. Like I said, I'm on 100% commission. So if I'm wasting my energy giving it to him, that's, an hour, half an hour, 15 minutes every day, whatever. It adds up over a week. That could be 7 hours of time that I'm not talking to a customer.
Yeah, it's too much. Too much. So let's see what happens here. If you're trying to get to an outcome, the current approach hasn't been working. He's pushing back a lot. So let's see if you take a different approach this time with like let's be on the same team here. Let's make each other win. How do I help you? But how do you also help me? If you take that approach as the spirit of the conversation to set new expectations, let's see if that makes a difference.
All right, I'm willing to try it.
Sound
I
good?
mean, I just want him to leave me alone. So, like, I and I could understand if I'm not hitting my sales goals, which I told
Right.
him, I'd be more than happy to take meetings and his phone calls. But I'm far
You're hitting your
exceeding the
goals.
goals, and I'm number one in the company. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe he wants me to train other people, but that hasn't been brought up, and he's
Yeah.
not paying me for that. So I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want to work for free.
Of course. Yeah. Well, so see what comes of this conversation. Maybe there's something that you'll learn that you didn't know. Maybe he'll reveal something and there's greater understanding.
I don't know. Maybe he just wants to be friends or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
All right, we'll take this approach, see what happens. If you have still something that comes up from this and you want to jump back on, happy to have you back on.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And you're like a business therapist.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. Hey, thanks for tuning into the Peacebuilding with Dr. Pollack show. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more workplace conflict advice. Share on social media if you think your friends and colleagues would benefit from this episode. And if you have a workplace conflict and want to be a caller on our show, for free coaching and advice, please email podcast@pollackpeacebuilding.com. Thanks.